How you doing? I'm gonna give it a couple seconds here to get going so I don't get cut off here. But I wanted to do a live today and go over some colonial magic, and like you to see if you can see how Leo, spelt in capital letters, mirrored and flipped, is the number 37. There's 37 degrees in Freemasonry, and there's 61 circles in the flower of life, and the food dog, Leo the lion, holds his foot on the flower of life. So Leo, O37, upside down is Leo. He's holding his foot on the flower of life. There's 61 circles in the flower of life. 370 minutes equals 610, when 61 minutes equals 101. The gematria for doorway is 101. The gematria for portals is 101. So 101 minutes equals 141. So we're talking about 37 degrees in Freemasonry, right? So if you guys want to take notes and check the work later, feel free to. But I want to run through everything that I've got connected here, and I wrote some notes so I don't go off on rants and forget what I was talking about and stuff like that. So the Days of the Dead is on 11/1, November 1st, and 11/2, 111 and 112, right? So this is a mocking of all the indigenous people that have been genocided throughout all these acts and resolutions and whatnot, and I'll show you how. So the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28, signed into law by Andrew Jackson, President of the United States at the time, and he was one of the only two Grand Master Masons to serve as President and Grand Master Mason. So 1830 in military time equals 1110 minutes, like the Day of the Dead on 11/1, and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1830 in military time equals 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes, equaling 66,600 seconds. So Resolution 181 was established in 1947 on 11/29, the 333rd day of the year, like 111 plus 111 plus 111 equaling 333. The Days of the Dead on 11/1. Now, from the Indian Removal Act, so Resolution 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, like your solar plexus chakra, 528 hertz, like the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28. So the only other Grand Master to serve as President of the United States was Harry Truman. He endorsed Resolution 181 on 4/14 of 1948. So from the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28, signed by Grand Master Mason Andrew Jackson, to Resolution 181, established on 11/29 of 1947, endorsed by the other only Grand Master Mason to serve as President of the United States, Harry Truman, equals 1410 months, like 37 degrees in Freemasonry, like 370 minutes equaling 610 in time, like 61 circles in the flower of life, the symbol of all creation etched onto the Osirian temple wall of the pyramids. 61 minutes equals 101 in time, when 101 minutes equals 141, like 1410 months, separating these two major acts of genocide all corresponding with the number 111, the Days of the Dead on 11/1. Now this was propelled by the Balfour Declaration issued on 11/2 by Arthur Balfour. 11/2 is another Day of the Dead with 59 days remaining, like the Lemuria celebrating the dead on 5/9, 5/11, and 5/13. Romo slays his twin brother. This is a music frequency that's going on here. This happened in 44 BC. So Romo, the etymology of Ro means man, Mo means more man slays more Re. The note Re, the solfeggio tone, equals the note D equals 9 hertz. The digital root of 432 hertz equals 9 hertz. So in essence, 440 hertz is slaying 432 hertz, and the Roman Republic falls, Re falls, and the Roman Empire rises. So the number 141, 1410 months in between the Indian Removal Act of 1830 and Resolution 181. So how does 141 correspond with that, besides it equaling 37 degrees in Freemasonry and corresponding with the 61 circles in the Flower of Life, you might ask? So the 141st prime is 811. Now in time, from 141 in time to 811 equals 630, and if you go around the clock one more time, it equals 1830, like the Indian Removal Act of 1830. And it also equals 18.4 hours, equaling 1110 minutes, equaling 66,600 seconds, like 666. And like the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, like the Days of the Dead on 11/1. So not only that, the date 8/11 is the 223rd day. Mirror that, and you have your Skull and Bones 322 fraternity number there. So 811 minutes also equals 1331 in time, equaling 131 in time. The Lemuria on 5/11. Romo slays his twin brother Remo. That's 131 days, like 1331 equaling 131. Now 5/11, I'm going to take you down a rabbit hole of this real quick, and then we're going to get back into it. So 5/11 in time equals 311 minutes, when 9/11 minutes equals 311 in time. We're talking about Resolution 181 here in the order of the J suits, IXXI. That symbol literally forms the cube. It's like the two Odin runes, or the two Othelia runes inheriting the land put together. It's the thorn rune. It's the rune for C, the rune for K. The third and the 11th letter, like 311, is the square symbol. So 9/11, order of the J suits, minus 9/11 the date, plus 181 days equals 311 the date, equaling 44 hertz on my chart. Now 311 equals 182 days, where 182 plus 182 equals 364. 3 hours and 64 minutes equals 404 in time, like 311, equaling 44 hertz on my chart. Like Romo slaying his twin brother Remo, 181, 44 BC. This is a lot to take in, so if I'm going too fast, I apologize. So yeah, IXXI equals 9/11 in Roman numerals. 9/11 minus 181 equals 730. Mirror the 730, and you have your L, and that's who these people worship. It's the L. I don't know who he is. Baal, Elohim. I don't really give a shit. But the date 7/3 equals 181 days remain, and it equals 590 hertz on my chart, counting back from 1221, lined up with 1221 hertz, my little calendar cipher thing that I made with my Diged pillar. So 7/3 is also the 185th day, like the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, Resolution 181 on 11/29, honoring the dead twins, 5/9. So Yeah, 141 to 811 also equals 630 in time. The date 630 equals 181 days. So the way that all of this just keeps cycling within itself, and this connects with a lot much more because the 44 hertz, like the date 57 equaling 18 weeks and 1 day, like 181. 57, the date equals 128 days, whereas 557 weeks equals 404 days, like 404, like 44 BC, like 44 hertz. So from the Maui fires on 808, their area code being 808 of 2023, the Lahaina attacks, or the Lahaina fires, this is all speculation, just by the way, to the Gaza Strip attack on 1007 equals 61 days, like 61 minutes equaling 101, like 101 minutes equaling 141 in time, like 141, 1410 months between the Indian Removal Act and the Fugitive Slave Act, or the Indian Removal Act and the Resolution 181, both endorsed and signed by Grand Master Masons, with that corresponding with 37 degrees in Freemasonry, with 370 minutes equaling 610 in time. Now, from the Lahaina fires on 808 of 2023 to the Chile fires on 2024, February 4th of 2024, from the Maui fires on 808 to the Chile fires of 24 of 2024 equals 181 days, equaling 5 months and 28 days. It's insane. From the Chile fires on 2/4 of 2024 to the Texas fires of 2026, or 2026, 2/26 of 2024. Let me say that again. I want this to roll off the tongue nice. From the Chile fires on 2/4 of 2024 to the Texas fires on 2/26 of 2024 equals 22 days, equaling 528 hours, like the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28, like 181 days equaling 5 months and 28 days. Like the Lahaina fires 808 to the Chile fires equaling 181 days, equaling 5 months and 28 days. Holy shit. Not only that, Biden was on 12/21 when 111 plus 111 equals 12/21, like the days of the dead on 11/1, like the 1830 equaling 18.5 hours equaling 1110 minutes. From 141 to 811 equaling 1830 in time, 18.5 hours equaling 1110 minutes. Now he got that on 12/21 of 2020, and 22 days later equaling 528 hours later on 1/11 of 2021, he got his second. And yeah, this is one giant psychopathic ritual here we're dealing with, kids, and I don't like it. 9/11. What's so special about 9/11, you might ask? Well, IXXI equals 9/11, but what else? It's 111 days remaining in the year. So, from the Chile fires on 2/4 of 24, from the Chile fires of 2/4 of 2024, plus 1 month and 22 days equals 3/26 of 2024, the bridge collapse. Now, what's the deal with 122? Well, 61 circles in the flower of life. 61 plus 61 equals 122. 122 minutes equals 202, like 22 days equaling 528. See how all this like overlaps and connects with each other? We're in a frequency spiritual war, and we're dealing with people that have mastered this science and have been playing with this shit for who knows how long, because this has been planned for a while. So, from 1118 of 218, the Paradise Fires, to 808 Lahaina Fires equals 57 months, like 57 weeks equaling 404 days. They like that 44 hertz, let me tell you. From the Harvest Festival, the Vegas Harvest Music Festival mass shooting on 10/1 of 2017 to the Paradise Fires on 11/8 of 2018 equals 57 weeks, equaling 404 days, equaling 1 year, 1 month, and 8 days, like 11/8, like 59 Villa Maria. 59 plus 59 equals 118. So, from the Harvest Music Festival mass shooting on 10/1, like 101 of 2017 to the Maui Fires on 8/08 of 2023 equals 70 months. 70 months and 7 days. Like 7 years and 7 months equaling 91 months. And the date 9/1 equals 244 days on my calendar cipher, when 244 minutes equals 404 in time, like 404, 44 hertz. The gematria for sacrum equals 404. It's the sacrum. It can either run at 44 hertz or it can run at 432 hertz, depending on your conscious awareness of knowing how to even do that, which we are not taught. So, where am I at here? So on my calendar cipher, I have 2 pillars, and one's 440 hertz and one's 44 hertz, and it took me forever to build this thing and finally figure out what it was. And once I realized that one was 440 hertz and the other was 432 hertz, that's when I realized, whenever Romo slays his twin brother Remo, 440 hertz is slaying 432 hertz. And it took me forever to realize that, but that was realized about a month and a half ago. And I just want to teach you folks how these numbers equal 44 hertz before I get into the key bridge collapse here on 326. And that way, whenever I explain that, it'll connect with all the other stuff in the beginning. Or I'm wondering if I should go through the bridge collapse first and then go to this, but this is the order that I wrote it in, so I'm just going to go with this. So you saw how the number 57 is being used in between those cycles of major events of these fires and these disasters, these mass shootings, the Indian Removal Act, and the establishment of Resolution 181, all these genocides, and basically just claiming of the land, like the Encomienda Act, released in the 1500s. The Spanish crown released an act giving Spanish conquistadors the right to go and genocide and enslave anybody that was on the lands that they were enslaving. Comienda means dinner, like supper. The dimensions of the Last Supper painting by Leonardo da Vinci equals 181 inches by 346 inches, like 181. So 5/7, the date equals 18 weeks in 1 day, like 181. It also equals 101 hertz on my chart, so we have that 101 portal going on with 61 minutes equaling 101. So on leap year, 5/7 also equals 128 days, when 128 days equals 18 weeks and 2 days. So it's revealing the number 182. And whenever we double that, 182 plus 182 equals 3 hours and 64 minutes. When 3 hours and 64 minutes, 182 plus 182 equals 364. 3 hours and 64 minutes equals 404 in time. When the date 5/7, 57 weeks equals 404 days, like 404. So see how that all corresponds and just kind of like locks in this little math system that we've got going on here. So 1,280 days equals 182 weeks. So when we go to the date 7/1 on my calendar, July 1st, it equals 182 days on a regular year and 183 days on a leap year. So, but it also lines up with 570 hertz. So 182 plus 182 equaling 3 hours and 64 minutes. This corresponds, I know I'm kind of making this a lot harder than, I'm making it a lot harder to explain than I should. But it's gonna make sense here in a second. So the date 9/1 is your 440 hertz pillar. It equals 244 days. 91 times 2 equals 182. 91 times 4 equals 364, like 3 hours and 64 minutes equaling 404 in time. 9/1 being 244 days and 244 minutes equaling 404 in time. For all this shit to just keep stacking and lining up the way that it does, it's stupid. So 910 minutes equals 310 in time. When 19 circles in the flower of life, 190 minutes equals 310 in time. Like the day before 5/11 the Lemuria, 510 in time equals 310 minutes. This is tricky, I know. Now, 510 on leap year equals 131 days, like the Lemuria 5/11 equaling 131 days, and this is linking with that 141, that 141, the 141st prime being 811 and 811 minutes equaling 1331 in time equaling 131, and how this giant like time looping cycle of, I call it the altered frequency. It's altered, but it's also the ALLTURD, altered frequency. So 19 circles in the flower of life, 91 minutes equals 131. So let me go over this one more time. 9/1, the date equals 244 days. When 244 minutes equals 404 in time. When 91 times 4 equals 364. When 3 hours and 64 minutes equals 404 in time. So 910 minutes equals 310, corresponding with 19 circles in the flower of life, because 190 minutes equals 310 in time. Linking with 510, the day before the Lemuria, equaling 310 minutes, when 510 in time equals 310 minutes, and the date 510 equals 131 days on leap year, like 91 minutes equaling 131 in time, and 190 weeks equaling 1331 days, when 1331 converts to 131 in time, like 141st prime, 141, equaling 811, and 811 minutes equaling 1331 equaling 131, and from 141 to 811 in time equaling 1830, equaling 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes, equaling 66,600 seconds. Holy shit. So there's 19 circles in the flower of life, right? 19 times 3 equals 57. 57 weeks equals 404. Okay. I think they got it. Let's get to this boat collapse. The boat hits at 1:28 on 3:26. It's hitting a pillar whenever the North Tower on 9/11 was hit. It collapsed at 10:28, and this happened. The happened following a lunar eclipse when the last lunar eclipse was on 10/28, and the Lakers scored 128 points the day of this bridge collapse, 128 days before Francis Scott Key's birthday, 128 days after Biden's birthday on 11/2, like the Days of the Dead on 11/2 with 59 days remaining, like the Lemuria on 5/9. So yeah, the gematria for bridge collapse is 128. The bridge was hit by a boat on the pillar at 128. The last lunar eclipse was on 10/28. The movie, what's that movie called? Leave the World Behind was released on 12/8, like 128. And let's see, yeah, let's look at the notes here. So yeah, the Lemuria. 101 plus 128 days equals 5/9, the Lemuria. When 101 plus 59 days equals 301. The 301st day of the year is 10/28. When 101 minutes, or 181 minutes equals 301 in time. Like the bridge collapsing at 128, being hit by the boat at 128. The last lunar eclipse being on 10/28, 128 days after Biden's birthday on 11/2, like the Days of the Dead on 11/2, like the Balfour Declaration being signed on 11/2 with 59 days remaining, like the Lemuria 181. And this was 128 days before Francis Scott Key's birthday. He was responsible for writing the Star-Spangled Banner, a song. Francis Scott Key Bridge, the solar eclipse that's coming up on 4/8 is all about us getting out of 440 hertz and getting into 432 hertz. The math in my work is showing that. It's not some crazy psychic prediction. The math is showing me this, and it's an observation off of the math and just observing the cycles of time. And I feel like this has been a giant countdown to the solar eclipse, and it's showing all the numbers of electromagnetism. So for this to have happened at 128, the pillar being struck in at 128, the last lunar eclipse being on 10/28, the release date of Leave the World Behind being on 12/8, like 128, 128 days after Biden's birthday on 11/2, like the Days of the Dead, like it being 128 days before Francis Scott Key's birthday, the gematria of bridge collapse being 128, the gematria for Maryland being 128, the Lakers LA, the compass and the square and the compass, LA scored 128 points, and the date 5/7 equaling 128 days, when 57 weeks equals 404 in 404 days. And from the Harvest Music Festival mass shooting in Vegas on Route 91 on the 91st floor, 10/01 of 2017, to the Paradise Fires on 11/8 of 2018, equaling 57 weeks, equaling 404 days, like 59 plus 59 equaling 118. It also equals 1 year, 1 month, and 8 days, like 118. And from 11/8, the Paradise Fires of 2018 to 8/08, the Lahaina Maui fires, being 57 months in between those two dates. The gematria for portals equals 101. There's 37 degrees in Freemasonry, right? Leo, the foo dog, holds his foot on the sacred flower of life. 61 circles in the flower of life. When you write Leo in bold letters and flip it upside down, it's literally the 037. 037 minutes, 370 minutes equals 610 minutes, like 61 circles in the flower of life. 61 minutes equals 101. 101 minutes equals 141. Like the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28, signed by Grandmaster Mason, President Andrew Jackson, to the Resolution 181, established on 1947 on 11/29, being the 333rd day of the year, separating those two dates by two Grandmaster Masons. Harry Truman endorsed Resolution 181 on 4/14, and this was 1410 months in between these two dates, like 414 and 141. 555 minus 141 equals 414. 555 plus 555 equals 1110, like the Days of the Dead on 11/1, like 1830 equaling 1110. So these people have just mastered frequency and time and had plenty of time to allegorize all of this shit. And yeah, from the Maui fires of 808 to the Lahaina attacks on 10/7, equaling 61 days, when 61 minutes equals 101 in time. 101 minutes equals 141. 37 degrees in Freemasonry. 370 minutes equals 610 in time. 61 circles in the flower of life. 370, or 037, flipped upside down, literally spells Leo in bold capital letters, and that linking with 141 days between your Indian Removal Act, signed by your Grandmaster Mason, to your Resolution 181, endorsed by your other only Grandmaster Mason to serve as President of the United States. Also, another thing, in 1830, your Massachusetts legislator Horace Mann in 1830 advocated all the free public schools across the country to be formed and created, and not to be mistaken with Horus, the falcon sun god of Egypt. Whenever you're observing the sun from the longest day of nighttime to the longest day of sunlight, either way, from the longest day of sunlight to the longest day of night, plus 183 days equals 1221. And from 1221, your longest day of night, to 621 equals 183 days. So 183 minutes, or 183 military time equals 1110 minutes, when 111 plus 111 equals 1221, your winter solstice. So so how they keep using this number 61 and 101 in between the Maui fires and the Lahaina fires and all these other events here. The gematria for portals equals 101. The gematria for Maui fires equals 101. The gematria for Palestine equals 101. The gematria for climate change equals 101. The gematria for ley lines equals 101. And these all happened on major chakra points of the earth, on major ley lines of our crystal grid that we're on. And they're trying to blame climate change for the Maui fires and shit. That shit's some bullshit. Whenever all this stuff is connecting with the encomienda and the colonization of land using sophisticated colonial magick, you know? So let's go back to that key bridge make sure that I went over everything. Yeah, the date 326, the day of the bridge collapse, that equals 59 hertz on my chart, like the Lemurian 5-9. It also equals 12 weeks and 2 days, like 122, like 61 circles in the flower of life, times 2 equaling 122. 122 minutes equals 202. And 202, I'm just, come on, guy. Yeah, 61, 101 plus 101 equals 202. Holy shit. So yeah, 226 equals 2 months and 26 days, equaling 23.50% of the year, like 23.5 divided by 5 equaling, or 235 divided by 5 equaling 47 degrees, like you're 47 degrees in Freemasonry. I think I'm reading like some notes on the top. I wanted to really get into this flowy part here. So on 326 equaling 59 hertz, like the Lemuria, like the Days of the Dead on 11/2 equaling 59 days remaining. Following the full moon lunar eclipse on 325, the last full moon lunar eclipse before was on 10/28, like the bridge hitting the pillar at 1:28. "128 days after Biden's birthday on 11/20, like the Days of the Dead on 11/2, with 59 days remaining, like 101 plus 128 days equaling 5/9 Lemuria, like 101 plus 5/9 days equaling 301, like 301 days equaling 10/28, like 181 minutes equaling 301, of course, in time. This is the Matrix simulation, kids. 501, May 1st. They had you fools with April Fools, but it's actually, well, April Fools is it's the 91st day of the year, 91, how that corresponds with the date 9/1 being the 44 hertz pillar on my chart. So 501, the matrix, when 501 in time equals 301 minutes, when 181 minutes equals 301 in time. Sneaky, sneaky. This is a very strange math they've got going here. So yeah, 128 days after Biden's birthday on 11/20, like the Days of the Dead on 11/2. 128 days before Francis Scott Key's birthday, when he wrote the song The Star Spangled Banner. The gematria for Star Spangled Banner is 114, 666, and 190, like 19 circles in the flower of life. 666? Come on. From the last, I think am I going off of this memory? I guess I'm going to go off of memory off of this. So the gematria for Star Spangled Banner to be 666, and the Indian Removal Act of 1830, when 1830 in time equals 18.5 hours equaling 1110 minutes equaling 66,600 seconds, corresponding with the Star Spangled Banner there. Now from the full moon lunar eclipse on 10/28 to 326 of 2028 equals 4 months and 27 days, equaling 216,000 minutes. And I'm just going to stop there because that's all I'm just trying to get to that number right there. That's literally the diameter of the moon is 21,000 or 2,160 miles for the diameter of the moon, and for that full moon lunar eclipse on 10/28 3:26, at 10:20, at 1:28, the pillar being hit by this boat to be 216,000 minutes when the diameter of the moon is 2,160 miles, and 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216 when the gematria for Star Spangled Banner is 666, and the guy who wrote the Star Spangled Banner is Travis, or I keep saying Travis Scott, Francis Scott Key. Fuck Travis Scott. Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner 128 days before his birthday. This shit is... Who writes this? Who has the time to sit back and even plot all of this shit out? Because I'm sick of trying to decipher it, and yeah. I want to try to say that again. Yeah, from the full moon lunar eclipse on 10/28 of 2023 to 3:26 at 1:28 when the pillar is being hit for bridge collapse at what geometry bridge collapse 128 is happening at 1:28 after the full moon lunar eclipse on 10/28 being 216,000 minutes from that date, and the Francis Scott Key Bridge, he wrote the Star Spangled Banner when the gematria for Star Spangled Banner equals 666, 128 days before his birthday, 128 days before, after 128 days after Biden's birthday on 11/20, like the Days of the Dead on 11/2 with 59 days remaining, and 3:26 equaling 59 hertz on my chart, like the Order of the J suits, IXXI equaling 911 when 911 minus 181 equals 730, mirroring L, the date 73 equals 590 hertz on my chart, equaling 181 days remain, like resolution 181, equaling 185 days, like the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. Fucking seriously, who the fuck wrote this shit up? So, the fact that it happened at 1:28 and corresponds with all these 128 days, LA, the square and the compass, LA won with 128 points against the Bucks. A deer is something that you see before an apocalyptic event, and yeah, they're setting up, they're doing a ritual for this. Romo slaying his twin brother Remo in 44 BC 181, because 128 days equals 57 on my calendar, when 57 weeks equals 404 days, when 128 days equals 128 days equals 18 weeks and 2 days, like 182 plus 182 equaling 364, and 3 hours and 64 minutes equaling 404, and they're just throwing that 404, 44 hertz at you so hard. They are throwing this Romo slaying his twin brother Remo code, 9/11, the Twin Tower, the North Tower collapsing at 10/28, the last lunar eclipse being on 10/28, the 301st day of the year, 181 minutes equals 301. 101 plus 59 days equals 301. 101 plus 128 days equals 59, the Lemuria. Romo slays his twin brother Remo, 181. I mean, nobody gets this shit, and oh, here we go. Yeah, check this shit out. From 10/28, the full moon lunar eclipse, 10/28, 301 days, 181 equals 301 in time. From 10/28, the full moon lunar eclipse, to 1:28 a.m. on 3/26, equaling 59 hertz. the day, like literally following the full moon lunar eclipse, equals 216,000 minutes, equaling 3,600 hours, equaling 4 months and 27 days, equaling, this is the number I'm trying to get to, is 41.10% of the year. Just that fact alone, because you know how 5/7 equals 101 hertz on my chart? The date 4/11 equals 101 days, equaling 75 hertz, mirroring 5/7. And the date 7/5 equals 610 hertz on my calendar site for 161 minutes equals 101, when there's a portal going through all of these days here. And yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how they even planned, or is this just embedded into the frequency of the matrix and I'm just reading it from, I don't know. But yeah, I want to read this again. So the gematria for Star Spangled Banner on that bridge, the gematria for Star Spangled Banner, the bridge was the Francis Scott Key Bridge. He wrote the Star Spangled Banner, right? The gematria for Star Spangled Banner equals 114, mirroring 411, when from 10:28, the full moon lunar eclipse, to 3:26 at 1:28 a.m., equaling 41.10% of the year, equaling 216,000 minutes, when 666 times, or when 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216, and the gematria for Star Spangled Banner was 114 and 666. Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. I'm also like thinking out loud and extending this video a lot longer than I was planning on, but I'm hoping that if anybody that's watching and seeing something that I missed and following this code with any other major events that are happening on around the world, seeing this 181 where they're using the 440 hertz ritual, knocking down pillars. Oh yeah, there was another the last major bridge to make headlines was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that happened on 128. I think that was in 2020 or 2021. Don't hold me on the actual year, but the date was on 128. And yeah, for the gematria of Star Spangled Banner to be 666 and 114 and 190, like 19 circles in the flower of life, and from the lunar eclipse on 10/28 of 2023 to 3:26 at 1:28, boat hits the pillar, to be 216,000 minutes, equaling 41.10% of the year, whenever the gematria of Star Spangled Banner was 114, mirroring 411, when the dates of the calendar 5/7 equals 101 hertz, and the date 4/1 equals 101 days, equaling 75 hertz, mirroring the 5/7. 5/7 plus 5/7 equals 114, mirroring 411. The gematria being 190 for Star Spangled Banner as well. 19 circles in the flower of life times 3 equals 5/7. Yeah, this shit's... it's enough to make me feel like I've lost my mind, and I'll leave you folks with that, because I probably just dropped enough math to like blow a sprocket on a young one. Who knows? But my whole intention of this is to end colonialism, to raise awareness on our codes, because that number 111 is literally a solfeggio key in between our chakra frequencies. Your crown, 963 hertz, minus 111 equals 852 hertz, minus 111 equals 741 hertz. 75, 75 hertz. Remember how 411 equals 75 hertz. 750 minus 111 equals 639 hertz. 639 hertz minus 111 equals 528 hertz. 528 hertz minus 111 equals 417 hertz. These are your solfeggio chakra, solfeggio tones. And when people are plagiarizing all these stories of genocide using these numbers, it's like they're colonizing our frequencies within. And especially when we believe all this facade and all this bullshit of, like, I'm not here to tell you what's true. I'm just here to show you what's being done. I'm just a messenger and a decipher of code, and I created a science that lets you see what's going on. I didn't create any type of truth except for my own story and my own truth. Everybody has their own code and their own frequency, and um, yeah, I'm not trying to claim anything or be pedestalized. I've been living out of my Jeep since I left on my journey on 11/4, and today is 3:29. Tomorrow is 3:30. That'll be 63 hertz on my chart. So tomorrow is a good day to plant seeds, seeds for goals. And yeah, my intention is just to raise awareness, and I'm not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers and ruin anybody's reality. I just stand against the genocide of a people, no matter what label they carry, and I'm just standing up against the bullies. So take it or leave it however you want it. Hope you folks have a good, beautiful rest of your day.